Assalamualaikum, my name is Intana Alvira, and for this lecture, I will present to you the introduction for our assignment. The title that we choose for the assignment is Research on Student How to Stay Motivated While Studying. And to complete the assignment, we also distribute some questionnaire to all the students of RAC1202. The motive for this research is to find out how the students of RAC1202 keep their motivation while doing online study. And the objective for this result is, number one, to identify the factor that distract students while doing online study. Number two, to conduct a survey for students of UIT and ARA on how to stay motivated while doing online study. Number three, to see more how motivation can affect the student GPA result. Number four, to determine what kind of study place that give comfort to the student. And number five, to analyze the response from the student. For the sample technique and the data method that we choose is population all students of RAC1202. Sample, we take 30 students from RAC1202. The technique that we use is simple random sampling. The data source is primary source data, and the method that we choose is using the Google form. Question 1 is the student gender, and based on the data that we receive, we can conclude that 36.67% were answered by the male student, while the other 63.33% were answered by the female student.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I, Elizatul Inshra binti Abdul Hakim Adli, will explain the details for question 2 in the Mongolian part. So as you guys can see in this slide, there are 6 types of classes. For class RAC1202A, there are 3 students that answered the questionnaire, while 2B are 5 students, and 2C are 3 students, and 2D are 5 students, 2E are 9 students, and the last class is 2F are 5 students who answered the questionnaire. Here is the bar chart of students in each class. So let's move on to the next slide. For question 1, the question is what keep distracting you from study? This qualitative data, there are 3 choices of answers, which is social media, noises, and family. 23 students choose social media as their cause of distraction. 4 students choose noises as their cause of distraction, and the last one is family, and there are 3 students choose it. So, as you guys can see in this slide, there is the stack bar chart of the causes of distraction for students. The orange one is for females data, and the blue one is for males data.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Nur Madiha binti Zubair, and now I will present to you the data analysis and results for question 2. The question is, what methods do you use to stay motivated while studying? As you can see from the table frequency distribution, 10 students choose to get enough rest, and 3 students prefer to eat healthy foods and drink plenty of water to keep motivated. Next, plan and follow a study timetable is something that 8 students prefer to do. And lastly, 9 students choose to study with a group of friends to stay motivated while studying. Now, let's move on to data analysis and result for question number 3. The question is, do you agree that multitasking while studying helps students to focus? The answer choices that have been given are yes and no. From the stack bar chart, 33.33% of students consisting of 3 males and 7 females agree that multitasking while studying helps students to focus. And the remaining 66.67% of students consisting of 8 male and 12 female disagree that multitasking while studying helps students to focus.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Nur Khadijah binti Ramli, and today I'm going to present about data analysis for question number 4. As you can see, the question asks, what activity that do you often do while studying to stay focused? There are 4 possible responses, which is listening to music, eating snack, write notes during lectures, and stay away from all electronic devices. Okay, as you can see from the according to the pie chart, listening to music is the highest vote activity that students often to do while studying, which is 16 out of 30 students vote for listening to music. Second, from the pie chart, 6.67% students have answered it is that is the activity that they often do to stay focused while studying. Is this snack is the least vote for the activity that students do while studying to stay focused. Okay, next slide is question number 5. what kind of study place that give you comfort to study? There are 5 provided answer, which is your own room, library, recreational park, cafe, and fast food restaurant. From the bar chart, one student choose recreational park and one student choose fast food restaurant for the comfort place to study. Second, from the bar chart, as you can see, there are 23 students comfortable to study at their own room. This is the highest vote for study place that gives student comfort to study. Okay, that's all from me. And I'm passing to the next presenter to continue this presentation. Thank you.
Now I'm going to present to you the data analysis and results for question 6. The data has been recorded in frequency distribution table and shown in the frequency polygon. The question and answers are as shown in the slides. Now I will explain about the analysis of the measure of centrality. The mean value we get is 3.367. It means on average, student study time in a week is 3.367. The mode value is 2.5435. It means the value that appears most frequently is 2.5435. For the median, the value is 2.875. That means 50% of students study less than 2.875 times in a week. Since the mean value is bigger than the median and the median is bigger than the mode, thus distribution is positively skewed. For measure of position, the Q1 is 1.9375. It means 25% of students study less than 1.9375 times in a week, and 75% of students study more than 1.9375 times in a week. The Q3 is 4.5. That means 70% of students study less than 4.5 times in a week, and 25% of students study more than 4.5 times in a week. The box plot is positively skewed. For measure of dispersion, the range for the data is 10. Interquartile range received is 2.56. Semi-quartile range get from the data is 1.28. The variance is 4.6023. The standard deviation is 2.1453. The measure of skewness, R, is bigger than 0. That means distribution skewed to the right.
Question 7 is how long the students spend to study each day, and based on the data we receive, we create the histogram charts. And using the charts, we can determine the mode, which is 1.71. The mean on average students spend to study is 1.93, and the median 50% of our students spend to study is less than 1.83. For the shape distribution we get is positively skewed. Next is the first quartile. 25% of our students spend to study per day is less than 1.21, and 75% of our students spend to study per day is more than 1.21. Meanwhile, for the third quartile, 75% hours of students spent to study per day is less than 2.55, and 25% of our students spent to study per day is more than 2.55. And as for the box plot, is skewed to the right. The range data for this question is 5. Meanwhile, the interquartile range we receive is 1.24. Furthermore, the semi-quartile range we get is 0.67. Variance is 1.0816, and the standard deviation we calculate is 1.04. Next is the coefficient of variance is 55.83%. For the percent of skewedness is 0.2115, and this means the measure of the skewedness is R more than 0.
And the last question for quantitative data is what is your GPA result for your last semester? Now I am going to present to you the data analysis and result for question 8. The data has been recorded in frequency distribution table and shown in the less than or give graph. The answers are as shown in this slide. I will explain about the analysis of the measure of centrality. The mean value we get is 3.267. It means on average, student GPA result is 3.2 3.267. The mode value is 3.439. It means the value that appears the most frequently is 3.439. For the median, the value is 3.342, and that means 50% of students' GPA result is less than 3.342. Since the mean value is less than the median, and the median is also less than the mode, thus distribution is negatively skewed, and you can see it on the slide. For measure of position, the quartile 1 is 3.0. It means 25% of students' GPA result is less than 3.0, and 75% of students' GPA result are more than 3.0. The quartile 2 is equal to median. The quartile 3 is 3.675. That means 75% of students' GPA result is less than 3.675, and 25% of students' GPA result more than 3.675. The box plot is negatively skewed. And for measure of dispersion, range for the data is 2.5, interquartile range received is 0.675, semi-quartile range get from the data is 0.3375, the variance is 1.2747, the sample deviation is 1.129, and measure of skewness are less than 0, so the distribution skewed to the left. That's all from me, thank you.